Good morning. Good morning. It is time for our Wonder Box, and Mika, I think, was going to help me this morning. You come on up. Let's see what we have in here. All right, let's open this up. Oh my, what do we have there? A drum. Oh, it's a gorgeous drum. Let's pull it up high. Oh, look at that. Should we try it out? Oh, that makes a nice sound. Thank you very much, Mika. All right, you want to go ahead and sit down, and I'll call you back up in a moment. So I have a story this morning about a boy who loved to drum, but his mother was very poor. She worked very hard and still could barely afford to feed the two of them. And so one day as she walked home, a stick caught her eye on the ground. And so she picked it up and brought it home to her son, and she said, "This is for you. It's the best I can give you. I hope you like it." And the boy, being the kind and gentle soul he was very happy to have this stick. And so he started tapping on a pot and everywhere he went. And he really enjoyed the rhythm. And so as he walked through the neighborhood the next day, he was tapping it along the fence. And he came upon a neighbor, and she was sitting outside crying. She was trying to cook, but her sticks were too wet. And so he looked at his stick that he did really enjoy tapping rhythms with and noticed it was very dry. So he handed it to her, and she said, "Thank you so much." She was able to light her fire and cook her naan bread. And so in thanks, she gave him a piece of the naan bread. And so off he went, kind of waving his naan bread, still tapping a rhythm as he went along. And he came upon another neighbor. It was the potter. And her baby was crying. And he said, "What is wrong?" And she said, "We haven't sold a single pot this week, and I didn't have enough money to buy food for my baby." And so the boy looked at his naan bread and handed it to her, and the baby stopped crying. And she said, "Thank you so much." And she said, "Why don't you take one of these large pots here? Nobody seems to want them anyways." And so off he went, carrying his large pot, tapping a rhythm on his pot as he went. And he came down to the river. And there he found a couple arguing. And he said, "What is wrong?" And they said, "We broke our pot for washing, and now we can't get our clothes clean." And he said, "Well, here, take this pot. I don't need it." And they were so grateful. They said, "Thank you, thank you." And they gave him a coat in return. And this coat was beautiful. It was intricately embroidered, but it was kind of hot outside, so he didn't really need the coat. He draped it over his shoulder, and off he went. And then he came to a bridge, and he found a man there with almost no clothes on, shivering under the bridge. He said, "What happened?" And the man said, "I was robbed. They took all my clothes. I'm freezing." And he said, "Well, here, take this coat." The man was so grateful and overjoyed. He said, "Please, take my horse." He said, "I'm too old to take care of it. It really needs some attention." And so the boy said, "Thank you." And off he went with the horse. And he really enjoyed walking with the horse with the drum beat that the horse made with its hooves. And so off he went. And he came up to the woods. And there he found a groom with his family and a group of musicians. And the groom's mother was crying. Everyone was very distressed. He said, "What is wrong?" And they said, "It is time for the wedding, but the groom's horse has not arrived, and we don't know what we're going to do." And so the boy said, "Well, here, take my horse." And they were overjoyed. They said, "Thank you." So what can we do in return? And as he noticed the group of musicians, he saw they had a couple of drums over there. And he said, "I would really like a drum." And they said, "Well, of course, please take a drum." And so off the boy went with his real drum, finally, tapping a rhythm and just as happy as he could be. Yay, that's right. And so with that, our story ends. And Mika, if you would like to come up, and we will pass our flame over. So from generation to generation, we light this flame of religious freedom. And now we'll follow out Mika and our children to our RE classes as we sing Go Now in Peace.